The conductor, a dark-haired First Nations woman, eyed me dubiously. First time on the Canadian Pacific Railway? She asked. Actually, Wownett, you might have given me the wrong path. I think the other path would have taken us to Iceland. Come to think of it. Boo. Anyways, first time on the Canadian Pacific Railway? She asked. Indeed it is. She refrained from rolling her eyes. The line runs from Gastown all the way to Ottawa, though you have to change at Winnipeg. You did it bad, Wownett. It would have been a it would have been a shortcut, I think. It doesn't matter, really. We're close enough anyways. The line runs from Gastown all the way to Ottawa, though you have to change at Winnipeg. It's the first transcontinental railway in the Dominion of Canada. She paused, fixing me with a look. I felt some kind of response was expected of me. So I said, very good. That's not the good part, she continued. The railway isn't owned by the government or a private company, but by the Blackfoot Confederacy. This here is First Nations territory, so no smoking, no liquor, and no firearms, you hear? Yes, madame, I nodded, not wanting to find myself on this formidable woman's bad side. Indeed, she quite reminded me of my own dear mamma. The steam whistle sounded twice, and I hurried to Monsieur Fogg as he pulled out of the station. So by the way, this one kind of lets you know that if you bring guns or alcohol in your inventory on this journey, something might happen. Let's check the newspaper. Fog Valley, the brains, full report. Apparently, I'm the brains of the operation. It was a crisp morning when we left Winnipeg. I could almost taste the snow in the air, though the head of the steam boiling out from the engines kept all of us passengers warm as we headed towards Ottawa. I found myself heading towards the engine room at the front of the train in the afternoon. The heat and churn of machinery seemed to call to me. Artificers checked gauges and shouted instructions. In Blackfoot, copper-lily symbols were pinned to their buffalo skin robes, which were thrown back in deference to the heat. I watched as patterns emerged amidst the seeming chaos. Smaller, slighter figures ran coal between the stores and the shovelers. Artificers and assistants flashed signs at each other through the smoky gloom. Each man and woman operated as a cog in the well-oiled machine of the engine room. One of the coal shovelers pushed her goggles up and cocked an eyebrow. "You want something, sir?" "Only the pleasure of your name, mademoiselle." I sketched a bow. The charming effect only slightly ruined by the coal dusty cough. By a coal dusty cough. She gave me a coal-stained grin and an up-and-down look. "It's Hurit, city boy," she said, turning back to her duties. "Now run along before you get coal dust all over your pretty clothes." Her fellow shovelers hooted and catcalled, and I found a flush traveling unaccountably up my neck. There we go. Luckily, I was saved by the sound of the steam whistle announcing that we approached our destination. I mumbled my excuses and hurried back to Monsieur Fogg. Ottawa was in our sights. Market first and foremost. We can sell this here, sell that here. Cold climate. Let's go with the air traveler sets. Well, I don't know if I'm going to need more cold climate stuffs, but you know, let's buy them anyways. 2 bags, it'll be fine. Plan. New York. £1,100 tomorrow. 3 days. We can't afford that anyways. Yeah. We're out of money. Okay, fine. Let's explore. We can travel to Quebec. Apparently. There was little doubt that Ottawa was the capital of the Dominion of Canada. Electric lights illuminated the wide paved streets instead of gas lamps, and electric streetcars crisscrossed the burgeoning city. Elegant hotels and bright, welcoming museums lined the riverfront, and I could see the rising smoke and steam from the sawmills and factories on the outskirts. Yeah, well, that's a possibility. I'm sure it's not a dead end. I ambled along the riverfront, poked my head into various shops of knickknacks and crafts, and chatted to the friendly locals. I was having a pleasant enough afternoon until I felt a sharp prod to the small of my back, and a high, fluting voice hissing, "Hands up, Salud!" Salud. I put my hands up, of course. My maman did not raise a fool, after all. The pressure at my back eased slightly, and I turned and saw a young man of perhaps 16 or 17 years holding a gun on me. Uh-oh. His clothes were inadequate to the weather, leggings patched and thinning at the knees, threadbare shirt, and only a thin leather jacket thrown atop it. I was amazed at the steadiness of his grip. I would be shivering if similarly attired. The boy chewed his lip and then half shouted, "Give me your money, Salud." Salud. I handed him £10, without question, preferring to preserve my life's blood rather than my master's pocketbook. The thief snatched the money from my hands and disappeared down a side street in a trice, leaving me to make my jittery, trembling way back to my master, £10 the poorer. We got robbed. So this other route, that's far cheaper. We can wait 2 days. Then we can't really go there, no. So well, we're stuck here and the bank is closed. No! Stupid bank. Anyways, fine, so you have to wait no matter what. Before retiring, I ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning £114 in fees and tips. So New York departs in 2 days, £1,100, we don't have that, at 8 AM. That departs tomorrow, before 4 PM. So as soon as the bank opens, we can potentially... yeah, we can get some money. Monsieur Fogg looked up from his ledger. "We are due a visit to the bank, I think, Passepartout." I regarded the manager of the bank as we entered, a well-dressed, calm gentleman who greeted us with practiced professionalism. "We wish to withdraw funds," we were told. "I warn you, it may take some time." "Oh, dang it, it'll take multiple days." That's not good. So it's currently Friday. Right, that's the thing with banks. They aren't open on Saturdays and Sundays. So I can't bring the money tomorrow. And on Monday the trains will have left. But we could actually wait here a week. So... I mean, we're on day 39. So either we go to go to up to Quebec, was it? And try to find a cheap passage onwards from there. Or we just sit here for a while. You know what, we'll check our chances on Quebec. What could possibly go wrong? It'll take too long, I informed the manager. We swept out of the bank. We will need to find some other way to fund ourselves, my master declared. So... that goes tomorrow, right? To Quebec, yeah. Tomorrow before 4 PM. The negotiations would cost too much money. So spend one day at the hotel. That cost a fair bit of pounds, actually. We took a room and settled in, and I spent a few hours polishing shoes in the lobby, earning £45. Just offsetting the cost a bit. Now we can head to Quebec by car. Yeah, by Micmac trading car. Oh, right. I have too many items. Let's go to the market then. Oh. Why doesn't the market open? Because I already bought everything. Oh, so I can't sell now. Fine, let's buy the extra luggage car then. Second car. Fine. Go. So be it. I don't want to leave any items. I think they're going to be worth more than £63 on the next market, so... We set out for Quebec in the back of a Bozek car driven by Micmac traders. Alas, they spoke only a little French and I spoke no Algonquin whatsoever, so we were reduced to broad statements and inelegant charades to perform whatever communication was necessary. My character is now dependable. Let's converse, see if we can find a path up. Talk about Quebec. Do you know anything, Mr. Fogg? Quebec City is connected to Reykjavik by air, but the fare is over £1,000. There is no market in Reykjavik. Nanortalik. Greenland must be one of the loneliest places on the earth. The last place you'd expect to find anyone you know. Oh? Is that a hint? Anyways. From Quebec to Reykjavik. One of the traders offered me a ball of some strange substance from a rawhide bag and mimed eating it. I looked at the offering dubiously, and the trader brought it closer to my nose. It smelled of meat and fat with a sweetness underneath. It actually smelled rather appealing. And I took a large bite of the stuff, much to Mr. Fogg's surprise. Pemmican, the trader said, giving me a name for my gustatory experience. He watched my face as I chewed. It tasted of meat and fat, buffalo or elk, by my reckoning, cut with the sweetness of chokeberries. It was not all that bad. In fact, dried fruit and meat all boiled down and pounded. Indeed, I felt quite energized, especially after convincing Mr. Fogg to try some also. This strange foodstuff was clearly well designed for keeping out the cold. Fogg approved, actually. I'm surprised. Okay, we can't really do anything here. The southwest... The oilskin southwester could earn us a fortune here. Good. There is a bank. Okay, let's spend the night at the hotel. Unlike Paris, which was bisected by the Seine, Quebec sprawled over the north bank of the St. Lawrence River. Ah, mes amis, there is something about a city on a river that fills me with yearning, and hearing French, even a strange lilting sort of French, spoken all about me did not help in the least. We toured the Chateau Frontenac, a luxury hotel built for Canadian Pacific Railway customers. was built over the old chateau, which had housed the British colonial governors of Quebec not so long ago. Monsieur Fogg insisted I take a cup of tea with him, though I had barely placed the cup on my lips when he snapped open his ledger. Very good, Passepartout. East? So we'll have to explore, I guess. First of all, let's plan. Reykjavik by airship. That would take 1,300 pounds. Yeah, that we can't afford that. Back to Quebec we go. Let's head to the market. First and foremost. This will actually... Yeah, let's sell that. Nothing is really valuable here, though. Up 110. 26. 9. Sell the apples. Sell everything. I kind of want to keep those items. No, you know what? We're gonna... The bank won't open. Let's explore. Oh, we found a different route to Greenland. I took a few hours to explore, investigating the various options for how we might continue our journey. So what's the journey to Greenland like? That is 15 pounds. Travels tomorrow at 8 AM. Yeah, sure. Let's head to Greenland. What could possibly go wrong? We are down to one suitcase, right? Yeah, we are. And I sold all my items, so... At least I got the Englishman's wardrobe. Yeah, we'll just spend the night and travel by airship in the morning. To Greenland. With the last light of the evening, I ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning 48 pounds in fees and tips, as well as overhearing from him that the fastest way to London is via Reykjavik. Yeah, that might be true, but the trip to Reykjavik is a bit too expensive. So we're gonna go to Greenland first. On the meteorological airship. Sure, perfect, let's go. What could possibly go wrong? That only took 15 pounds. And, you know, if you remember yesterday, cheap travels tend to be risky. We took cheap passage on a battered old airship, headed to pick up 3 months' worth of readings from a meteorological outpost on the southern tip of Greenland. I hope they're paying you well, I muttered, shivering at the very thought. The captain shrugged. Science is good business these days. We can check the newspapers. Mormon Desert Railway is faster, cheaper, and drier, apparently. Okay. Oh, so now we can hear about, yeah, the Mormon Railroad to Las Vegas. We reached the outpost as the blizzard outside intensified. I could barely see the compact buildings through the sleet, and I felt the airship was a safer haven than the little clutch of huts clinging to the ice, for all that it was on land, and we free-floating. The pilot's aim was true, either skill, practice, or luck, and the airship's hook caught the outpost tether on the first try, pulling us in to the waiting dock. We can't do much here, though. All we can do is sleep in Nanortalik. The outpost itself was a barren and cheerless place, apparently manned by a single hardy soul who kept watch over the instruments and recorded meticulous notes. What is this place called? I asked, teeth chattering. The pilot shrugged. It is simply the outpost. Who'd bother giving it a name? The person who lives here? I retorted. Nobody lives here. It is not fit to be anyone's home, the pilot muttered. It is just a stop on the way to somewhere. Even if you're the poor bastard who's hired to stop here for half a year. Speaking of which, the pilot opened an inner door and gestured for me to enter. I stepped through and saw the outline of a man lit by a glow of a bank of instrument. It was none other than the artificer Vitti Jokinen, whom I had befriended on our expedition to the North Pole. How did he escape? Vitti! I cried, with an eager grin. He turned, pale grey eyes widening in shock and recognition. Passepartout, what in the world are you doing here? I could ask the same of you. I laughed, though we are only stopping here briefly to refuel, unlike you. It was cowardice that drove me here, he admitted, turning his face to the console. I blame myself for the Ice Walker's crash. I wished to run away from my guilt, but clearly I did not run far enough. Here you are. So, my friends, do we give up the quest in favor of love? I think option number 2 here is actually, potentially we're gonna abandon Mr. Fogg in favor of love. What say you? You think love on it? You think love is in the air? In the hot air balloons? Okay, well, let's see anyways. I'm not entirely certain if we did the right things, but we can try. You cannot hide from your own feelings, I told him. There is no place remote enough for that. Time and solitude have helped me untangle myself. Witty gave me a rueful smile. I'm truly glad to see you. With that, he invited me to share a cup of tea, and we spent a surprisingly pleasant few hours in conversation as the crew gathered the carefully recorded data and refueled the airship. So I think I missed a conversation on the Ice Walker, unfortunately. Oh well. Close now. So we can depart right away. But I feel like I should... yeah, let's wait a day. I want to explore. We passed a little more time in the frozen outpost, but I had little more than I wished to say about it. Okay, so I didn't have any chance. That's too sad then. We lost a day. Oh well. We lost a day. I thought I could convince Mr. Vitti, but alas. Oh well. We'll pass the night. Another night, but my master was keen to leave, indeed. And we can. Let's head to Reykjavik. Goes tomorrow. Let's negotiate. No. We'll wait one more day. We have time. That's one thing we have now. We don't have funds, but we have time. We tarried another night. Well, let's go to Reykjavik. Witty came to watch our airship depart. Good luck, Passepartout, he shouted. My response was likely stolen by the wind and snow, but I watched his thickly mittened hands waving goodbye till they disappeared into the blizzard. Aww. Let's check the newspaper. Norwegian minister dismisses cave-in fears over underground city. Yeah, they basically moved all of Oslo underground when we were there earlier. We drifted across the top of the world in relative silence. Below, wars were fought, hearts broken, curses uttered. Lives began and ended. But all we saw were the cresting waves and the endless drifting ice. I asked the captain for his thoughts, but he only shrugged. This is home, he replied. I've heard the rest of the world is a bit warmer. Perhaps one day I will go on holiday there. My master paced the narrow decks and said nothing. After so long, we were all but home. How small London would seem when we finally arrived, now that we had seen the world from this lofty height. Want to see more newspapers? Fog said to have crossed the date line. Yes, indeed. Oh, game. The weather cleared as we neared our destination. The water of... oh, good lord. Faxafloy Bay shone an impossibly bright blue underneath us as the low, colorful buildings of Reykjavik swept along the curve of the shoreline. The past days of tumult and blizzard seemed almost a dream. Okay, we have to explore here. We don't do anything. So let's spend the night. Hopefully we can afford the monies to go from here. I think Reykjavik was special, though. Reykjavik was a quiet town with few inhabitants, but still had the feeling of a bustling center of commerce. The flag of the Kingdom of Denmark fluttered above the trade hall, declaring this place an outpost. But of all the outposts, colonies, and adjuncts of great nations we had seen, it seemed the most comfortable in its skin. This comfort most likely derived from the natural hot springs, which we tried out in an open area behind our hotel. Monsieur Fogg sat in one end and myself at the other, and he breathed in gulps of steam with a deep, satisfying sigh. The terrible Arctic plains seemed suddenly 1,000 years away. I rested in silence, companionably enough. We were firmly back in our adventure. We were firmly back into our adventure once more, but I confess to feeling more glad to be alive than anything else. The pole had been a bleak place, and I am quite sure another, only slightly different Fogg and Passepartout might have lost their lives there. And he's not wrong. It was very much a gamble going over the North Pole, and if you weren't prepared and if you didn't make friends, you would die there. Which is one way to end the game. Anyways, let's explore Reykjavik, find the trails out of here. Hey, straight to London. I spent a few hours in exploration, learning ways in which we might travel onwards. Okay. Can we afford it? We can afford it. We cannot afford it. That's the only path. So I have to wait for the bank to open. And then we need money. Oh, this is going to take a while. As night fell, I ran a few errands for the hotelier. Earning £83, as well as overhearing from him that I was quite behind on London fashions. An excellent snippet. Important things. Anyways, we have to wait until tomorrow for the bank to open. Before going to bed, I spent a few hours polishing shoes in the lobby, earning £69. I'm trying to make enough money so we can actually, you know, make that last journey. Bank opens at 12. So about there. It's Monday. Let's see. Regard the manager. You want to make a withdrawal? You might have to wait a day or two. So here's the problem. If we wait 2 days, the journey costs £1,800. But I need to spend 2 nights sleeping here for that. 3 nights actually. Let's try 2 days. Return to the bank on Wednesday to collect our funds. Okay, good. So we have to spend the night. I mean, I suppose we could sleep on the streets. But I don't think he's gonna go for that. Anyways, let's quickly do some more hotelier errands. And one more. I'm trying to stay off our bankruptcy here. Run a few errands for the hotelier. There we go, £1,600. 1,600. The World's Fair in Paris had been a roaring success. I made a note to tell my master. Okay, we have to wait until 12 PM to get our funds. Come on. Return to the bank. Made our monies. Thank you. More than £2,000. Please tell me this departs tomorrow. In 2 days at 2 PM. Negotiate. No charge. Tomorrow at 2 PM. For 1800. As long as the night's stay doesn't cost more than £300, we should be fine. Good. As night fell, we of course ran some more errands. As well as discovering from him that not all jokes translated well. Most intriguing. Made some fake jokes, I guess. Anyways, time to head for London with the Silver Seal.